All right, we're out here working today on this WK Grand Cherokee. They're not the greatest cars in the world. They're not awful. This one's got the absolutely abysmal V6 in it, so we won't talk about that too much. But what we're doing today is just some brake work. I got the fronts all done. That's no big deal, and I'm not going to go into how to change brakes. But I did run into one little problem, and maybe this is going to be helpful for you. So I'm working on this WK here. And the rear rotors are stuck on. I mean, you smash them with a hammer, no matter what, they're not coming off. I soaked them overnight. And then I realized, well, these things obviously have rear drums on them, and they rotate fine. There's a little bit of sound, though, there from the rotation. And I'm guessing what's happening is behind that, the drums themselves are catching a little bit on the inside, which means that these rotors are never going to come off unless I get underneath there and retract the drums, or the shoes, just a little bit, even though there's no problem with me spinning this with my hand. So let's take a look behind and see if that's actually the problem. Here we are back behind the rotor, or in the entire brake assembly here. You can see use my axle and everything. And I got this little rubber booty thing here. We gotta pop that out, and inside there's a little ratcheting star bit thing that you can use a screwdriver, or you can use a specialized tool to work on. And basically we just want to loosen up the shoes on the back enough so that they're not catching inside the drum on the inside, which is just the e-brake section here. And hopefully this thing will just slide off. If it does, then we're done. So this is the tool that you normally use for doing brakes. You can get these for $1 or $2 at the parts store. Or you can just use a wide screwdriver that's got a pretty sharp bit on it. That'll work the same, regular screwdriver. And then we gotta stick it in back and ratchet. All right, so I finally got the rotor free on this side after releasing the drum, but I also needed a ton of pressure. Even after soaking this thing, smacking it with a sledgehammer, everything, I needed more leverage. So what I got out was one of my pickle forks here, and I stuck it right down in here, in between the rotor and the casting there, and I smacked that a few times until it busted it loose. This took a lot of effort. So if you've got an old Midwest Jeep and you're having trouble with the rotors, this is the only way you're going to get them off. But now we are free. Time to put on some fresh ones. So if you look at the way this worked, now we can see it a little bit better. When we stuck the tool in the back here, like this, you can see it sticks in, and then there's this little star ratchet thing right here. And then that rotates and that lengthens or contracts this spring, which makes this shoe draw in, which means it comes off of the inside of the rotor here, like this inside lip. That's just your emergency brake. So even though it's disc brakes all around, the e-brake locks up that way. And if this guy is expanded too much up like that, then it binds, even if this is free and clear and isn't as rusty as mine was, and you'll never get it off. So those are the tricks to actually getting a stuck rear rotor with drums off.
Quick tips.